You might be sabotaging your own spiritual expansion while thinking you are awakening. The same plant that many call sacred, cannabis, has become for most a blanket for boredom, a soft filter for emotions we don't want to face. This video is neither an incentive to use nor a judgment. It is simply an invitation to clarity, because between the smoke that rises and the silence you seek, there is a delicate border. On one side, presence, on the other, escape, and sometimes that line is so thin that we only notice it once we are already far from home. Imagine an ancient room, carved in stone, illuminated by torches. In the center, a circle on the floor. This place is not in a distant temple nor in forgotten ruins. This place is your chest. Each breath is a bell, each thought, a bird that lands and then leaves. The plant can arrive like a wind that opens windows, bringing fresh air, or like a heavy curtain that erases the colors of stained glass. The one who decides this is not the myth, nor the trend, nor the meme. The one who decides is your intention. We often talk about the so-called bridge between worlds, but we forget that every bridge needs two shores, the place you leave and the place you are going. Without clarity, the crossing becomes drifting. What could be a sacrament, a moment of revelation, turns into anesthesia. Marijuana, when used without awareness, can erase the glow of the most important question. Who am I when no one is watching? And instead of the sincere answer, easy distractions appear. Laughter, snacks, videos. One more night that ends, just like so many others. But when used with reverence, the same plant can place a mirror right in front of you, and with an almost cruel sincerity ask, are you using me to forget or to remember? Many people idealize the plant as if it were a mystical shortcut, as if it were enough to light it up for the sky to open. But every shortcut demands a price. Yes, it might even take you somewhere faster, but that place might not be what you imagined. Without emotional preparation, without a firm ground, without listening to the body, what seems like expansion ends up turning into dispersion. Ideas arise like fireflies. They blink, shine, but are hard to hold on to. Promises of change feel strong at night and vanish the next morning. The heart may even sense it, but habit pulls you back. Few people talk about the weight of repetition. Lighting up always at the same times, in the same places, with the same people. There comes a time when it ceases to be a choice and becomes routine. And when a habit loses its meaning, it starts to cover life. Like a curtain that doesn't let the light in. The world feels a little more distant. Colors lose strength. Joy requires triggers. Presence only appears with a soundtrack. Spirituality, which should be an encounter, is reduced to an effect. And an effect is not an encounter. There is a common mistake, believing that spiritual growth is about collecting extraordinary experiences. But it's not. Growth is being whole even in the simplest experiences. It's washing the dishes while feeling the water on your hands. It's facing a difficult conversation without running away. It's working with dignity even when no one is watching. If the plant takes you to a sky that doesn't speak to your Monday, be careful. You might just be visiting paradises where it's impossible to live. There is also another path, quieter, less noisy. It begins in the same place, in the chest, like that stone room you've already imagined. But on this path the question changes. It's not, how do I use the plant to elevate myself, but rather, how do I prepare so that any tool finds me lucid? On this path, answers don't arrive in fireworks but in small, almost invisible gestures. Sleeping in respect to the body, eating while listening to what the body asks for, breathing as if in prayer, meditating without hurry. If cannabis enters this scenario, it does not arrive as a queen, it arrives as a guest. And a guest respects the house. Perhaps you have already felt this. On a calm day, a lighter puff brought not euphoria but clarity. A part of you withdrew and simply observed. Thoughts came, but you didn't chase them. And then an insight appeared, not like an explosion, but like a light bulb lit in a dark basement. This light revealed stored boxes. An old memory, a fear, an insecurity, a belief that wasn't yours. It isn't comfortable, but it is liberating, because true spirituality is not decoration for the ego. It is a workshop for the soul. The danger is not in the plant. It is in the why. We run away from the tiredness that asks for rest, from the sadness that asks for comfort, from the anger that asks for boundaries, from the loneliness that asks for presence. We run from the emptiness that asks for meaning. And deep down, we run from the calling that asks for courage. When we run, we trade healing for relief. And repeated relief charges high interest, more apathy, more confusion, less clarity. Little by little, we distance ourselves from the body that feels, from the heart that cries, from the mind that can think freely. And this is where the wisdom of ancient traditions comes in. Many cultures treated the plant with respect and ritual, not as a crutch but as a magnifying glass, not as an escape but as focus. What kept this thread alive was not a secret formula. It was a simple ethic: to have clarity of the why, to care for the environment, and then to integrate what happened. The why is the intention, the environment is the place, the people, the surrounding energy, and integration is what you do afterward. Without integration, even a true vision becomes a beautiful memory and an old life. With integration, even a small insight becomes a solid brick on the path. The most important point of this conversation is not hidden in tombs nor in ancient secrets. It is right in front of a mirror. It is the simple yet powerful question: does what I do make me more present, more loving, more responsible? If the answer is no, no matter how elevated the experience seems, it is taking you away from yourself. If the answer is yes, then it will ask for concrete actions, asking for forgiveness, breathing calmly, turning off the phone, sleeping better, walking in the sun, drinking water, looking someone in the eyes without hurry. The sacred does not run away from the ordinary. The sacred transforms the ordinary. Perhaps you recognize yourself here. Perhaps you have already used the plant to laugh, to relieve, to distract yourself, and now you hear a whisper. Maybe it's time for another way. You don't need big promises. Try radical honesty. Before any gesture, ask, what hurts in me today? Which conversation am I avoiding? Which joy am I afraid to feel? If the answer comes, welcome it. If the body says no, respect it. If it says yes, enter slowly with reverence, and the next day integrate. Write, move your body, breathe, share with someone you trust. Because an insight without action turns into dust. Think of a simple image: a garden at night. You hold a lantern. You can use this light to create monsters in the shadows or to water the right plants. Cannabis can be that lantern, but the hand that chooses where to point it is yours. There is no greater magic than that responsibility. In the end, everything returns to something almost childlike. Your presence is the strongest instrument you have. The plant, any plant, only amplifies what you already offer. If you offer escape, it accelerates the escape. If you offer presence, it deepens the presence. The risk is not getting lost out there. The risk is forgetting to come back in here. The call is not go up. It is return. Return to the body that breathes, to the heart that feels, to the silence that doesn't need to prove anything. Return home and everything that is true will find you. If something inside you was lit during this video, a doubt, a desire to take better care, even a discomfort, treat it as a sign. Don't rush, don't blame yourself, don't throw it away. Place a glass of water nearby, take 3 deep breaths, and listen to your body as you would listen to a dear friend. If you choose to walk with the plant, let it be hand in hand with consciousness. If you choose to walk without it, let it be with the same reverence, because the path that matters is not in the smoke that rises, but in the step you take when it dissipates. And tomorrow, in the middle of simple routine, when you feel like looking for a shortcut, remember, it is not at the peak of an experience that your life changes, but in the small gesture you repeat with love. It is going to bed a little earlier. It is saying an honest no. It is opening the window and letting the sun in. It is looking at someone and truly being there. This is true spiritual expansion. Less spectacle, more presence. Less effect, more encounter. Less veil, more vision. May you find that which is never lost. The clarity of being alive now.